Hey everybody, Sonia Davis here, and today I wanted to shoot this quick video to give you some tips on how to do your 3D dimensional vision board. And I had already completed mine, but I noticed that a couple of the pieces had started peeling back. So I decided to take it all loose and do it again. And I thought this would be the prime time to give you some tips on it. So because I'm going to be going back and forth, I'm going to have to pause the video and shoot a little bit more. So just letting you know ahead of time that this is what I'm going to do. So, all right, let's get started. And what I want to do is show you the vision board with just the first background on it, meaning that these were the pages that I had pulled and laid them out. So let's get started with that. So here we go with the pause. Okay, so here we go. Now this is the background of my vision board, and as you can see, let's see if I can get closer here. You can see all of the different backgrounds that I picked up or pulled out of the book. And if you've seen my completed vision board already, then you know this looks nothing, absolutely nothing like the finished product. And that's because one of the things that I learned was that you have to layer everything, meaning that you have to take pieces and put some on top of one another to hide for instance, some of these vertical lines, like here in this one here, you can see that these are literally two different backgrounds, but they kind of blend together. If something was in the middle here, you almost wouldn't be able to tell that these would be two different backgrounds, okay? And even here on this one, this is actually a piece. Let me pull this off and you'll see. All right. So you see that is totally different than what this here gives it the illusion of. So as you can see, I made, this is going to be a little difficult to hold it, but if you look at the top of this cut, you can see that I just trimmed around the ocean part, or actually the trees. But I left some of the ocean because I saw that if I did that, you see there's ocean here and we have this sunset here, then that means that this might flow right into it. So if I take this, and put this about right here, I'm getting coverage of, the person on the horse here. And with other pieces, I can actually start layering and, hiding certain things and, giving the 3D illusion, okay? So what I'm going to do now is, oh, here's something else I wanted to show you too. When I talk about layering, I want you to look here at this. When I started off, this is what I originally had. I had this picture here, but obviously I ran out of something. So I found this piece that actually, if you look at this, these are two separate pieces, but this here kind of blends into here. So I figured I could, do something with that, which I did. So I guess in essence, what I'm telling you is that the background itself does not need to match perfectly, because you can take other pieces and, start to blend them in. So we're going to go for another pause, and I'm going to show you, I'm going to start here in this corner. Oh, there's one other thing I wanted to show you. Hold on. These are actually the pieces to my vision board, the cutouts. And as you can see, most of this was close cropping. Like, see this? It's close cropping. And this here, as you can see, I literally cut out, there was something in the middle of there, and I cut that out to get a view. Here's something else. This actually came out of a magazine that, if you can look here closely, you'll see a crease here, because this was it was 2 pages, and I taped them together. So just a little bit of tidbits. And here, this is one I literally just, just cut out kind of freehand here. And most of my objects, again, like this, they're close cropped. And when you have things like, let me grab this, see this purse, you want to cut it out. You want to cut out everything so that it just looks like the purse. You see I cut out the inside of the handle there. What else? And this one here is actually interesting. Right here. I hope you can see this. This is interesting because what I did here was layered these two. Now, maybe if I turn it over, you'll see. Yeah, you won't be able to see it. I'll just split apart a little bit. Oh, I can't. Anyway, this is a cutout. Behind this house here, almost the majority of the picture is cut out behind it. So I had to find something to lay over the top of the picture here of the 2 people. And what I found was this. This kind of laid in perfectly. I guess if you kind of see the back here, you can see where what was cut out of that picture of the couple. So anyway, let's do a pause here, and I'm going to put some of the board together so you can kind of see it transform. Okay, so a little bit of progress here, and as you can see, I've added some of the pieces back to the board. But before I finally glue these down again, I just want to show you an area where some blending needs to go on. So, okay, let's start here where the 2 wine bottles are. So where I've placed them, if we look at it, we see that line there. But once I cover it up with these wine bottles, okay, now we get rid of that line, right? And then here, where the house is, if we start looking at this, let me just pull this up. Again, we can see, still see some of the, the person on the horse riding back here. But all of these colors, they blend in together. Even with this hole up top over the house here, this color it just blends in, with both of these. So it looks, it gives you that illusion that they all go together. So this piece here, I would put about right there. Okay, but as you look here, now we have another line between here and here. So how do you fix that? All right, I'm going to show you. So I've got this piece. Can you see it? This piece right here. It's just some greenery. Again, this, I literally just cut this out freehanded. I didn't want to make, a square. I wanted to make sure that it had some areas for it to blend from one, area to the next. And if you see here, we have greenery here and we have greenery here. So the way to get rid of that is that I would take this, kind of place this, you can see this up under here, put this back, And put this, come on, I'm trying to do this with one hand. All right, so this needs to go up. Oh, there you go, about right there. Okay. So now when you look at that, if this was all glued down, you'll get it in just a minute. But when you look at that, you see how that removed that vertical line that was there? Just by cutting out a little bit. And it looks like it's blending from here to here to here. You can't really tell much of anything. So, all right, another pause. All right, we're back. And as you can see, I have glued down these the top portion here. And as you can see, this light is kind of giving you a glare. But as you can see, the vertical, here, let's see. The vertical line, which was about right here, that's gone because the wine bottles are covering those. Any of the area that had that horse in the back of it, as you can see, that's gone. Okay. The line that was here, it's gone. It kind of looks like this part here just carries on right through, you know, into this area because they all blend. Now, we're going to tackle this vertical line right here. Now, remember I said these, you know, you can clearly see that these are two different pictures, but again, the way to get rid of that line is to place something there. So what do I have? I have this right here. So if I put that about like right there, you can see that that line is gone. You almost can't even tell that these are two different backgrounds because this is covering it. Okay, so I'm gonna finish up this area up top and I'll be back. Okay, so I've got the watch glued down, but now we have this area here to worry about. I mean, that looks, there's no blending whatsoever going on in here. There's all hard lines. So how do you cover that up? All right, let's start here with the purse. So if we take and we place the purse about like that, okay, it covers up a part of it. And if you see this area right here, we're going to get that covered up. So I'm going to do it like this. Maybe we need to bring this purse down just a little bit. Bring this down. Okay. So you see how those lines got covered up really quick? There's no hard lines in between one scene to the next because I'm using a layering effect to cover them, to cover any of the hard lines. In a minute we're going to go down and start working on this area here, and I'll show you a couple of tricks that I found out just by playing around with this, what to do. Okay, we'll be back. Okay, so here is another situation where you really have to start blending your pieces in. So let me see if I can get rid of some of this glare. All right, you see that here. You've got, again, you've got, you know, these lines here. We've got this here. We've got this hard line across the bottom. And we've got some, you know, situation where this here definitely needs to blend in. Well, let me show you how I fixed that. First of all, I got my handy dandy car. So this car is going to come in and it's going to cover, one, that writing. Two, it gets rid of this blend area here. It looks like that car is about to drive right up into that house, right up into the driveway. All right, so then we got a second situation here where we need to clear this out. And how are we going to do that? With this. So we're going to put this, I don't know, maybe, we want to blend it a little bit more. Let me move this over a little bit. Okay, and then the last thing I'm gonna do is put this right here. Okay, so we got rid of any of the blending, any of the hard lines, you know, that were going on in this area. And I'm sorry that you've got this glare. Maybe I can come over here and try to clear it up. But you can see that I got rid of it just by covering it, layering, doing a layer with all of these different pieces. So now, one other little area I'm going to show you about is this right here. But let me pause and grab the pieces so I can show you. All right, so I've pretty much placed everything just about where I want it. I'm going to have to go back and just do, you know, a little bit of a readjustment. But right here, you can see that there's quite a bit of, you know, hard vertical lines and horizontal lines going on here. And one of the biggest tips I can give you about this type of thing is if you can't find anything to cover that, you can always use words. So I have some pieces already because remember I'm just putting this back together, but at the time that I was doing this I had to find, you know, pieces. So if you remember in the beginning I was saying how much these two backgrounds, they blend in to one another. So I found this piece here, this little gold chest, and if I put this about like that and put my, sorry, I'm trying to do this with one hand, put this back here, and then for this top area here, this horizontal line, you know, if I just take and put this about right here and maybe slide this somewhat like this, and see, I got my little boat here, you know, and do something like this. This is going to hide all of the lines. So you can always use, you know, words to hide some of your lines. And as you can see right here, these two pretty much blend into one another. I mean, I'll readjust it momentarily to, you know, get rid of all of the lines. But you can kind of see what I mean here. So I'm going to finish this off and glue everything down, and then we're going to look at the final product. Okay, we're back, and before we move on, I just want to show you my original vision board. And I want you to note the difference between this and the final version. When I did this, was so proud of myself. I was like, oh my gosh, this is great, okay? But the problem with this board is you can clearly see the change in scene from one scene to the next. All of these vertical and horizontal lines, those should not be there. As far as the 3D objects, the pictures are, they're good because they're all different sizes, and you want to have different sizes of pictures so that you get the 3D effect. You get the depth. when you're staring at your vision board. But this is not the way you want your board to look. You want to blend every scene from um, one. You want to blend from one scene to the next. Okay. So now let's look at the final version, which is here. Okay. And that is a big difference from the first one to the second one. And as you can see, I rearranged everything just so that I could get that, the 3D effect. There are no more vertical lines in here. There are no more horizontal lines. This vision board is layered. It's layered so that when you look at it, you can see three-dimensional. And that is the purpose of your vision board, to see three-dimensional. So one of the areas that I talked about last was this one here. And it's always the last part that you do that gives you the most flux, And I had to find, this piece here to effectively blend from this area to this area. And I just happened to stumble upon this. But as you see, the way it's placed, the vertical line is about right here. But the way it's placed, this chest, it cuts off that line so that you have the flow. So you're literally flowing, from this scene to this scene, and that's how you want your entire board to go. You want it to, just flow from one scene to the next. So anyway, I hope that this is beneficial to you, and that you can take your own boards and make them completely 3D. And if you have any questions, just hit me up, and I'll be more than happy to give you some tips and advice. This is Sonia Davis, and you guys have a good one.